And welcome to the Capitol Report with CapitolBeatOK.com's Pat McGuigan. I'm Alex Cameron. Pat, the dominant issue of the session really has been the effort to reduce or if not eliminate the state income tax. And you heard this week from Senate President Pro Tem Brian Bingman. He believes that a reduction of the top income tax rate by maybe 1/4% to 3/4% is likely, which is not anywhere close to what Governor Fallin was looking for this session. What accounts for this difference in thinking right now?
Yeah, it might be as high, by the time they're all done, we'll see, it might be as high as 1% because Speaker Steele was reluctant to keep, in his presentation with the reporters, was reluctant to keep it to 3/4. So we'll see. Now, what accounts for the big difference is not a mystery. The primary factor is that the legislature has so far not been willing to address the carve-outs, exemptions, tax credits. We've talked about it before. It's an old expression at the legislature, and in this case it happens to be true, which is that every one of these exemptions and carve-outs has a constituency. And those people showed up really strong, effective, powerful lobbyists who argued behind closed doors after, in most cases, not testifying in front of the Dank Committee last summer, but they argued very passionately to retain these. So it's really a jump ball how many of those will be recaptured by the state and then offset by a tax credit. And the reason that's so significant is we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, and that was the pot of money, if you will, that was viewed as the way to initially jumpstart this glide path towards eventual elimination, or certainly at least a much lower levy. There's been an unwillingness so far to look at additional rounds of budget cuts. That's another factor. We'll see if that changes. That leaves revenue growth, which has been robust, but it's not enough to finance much more than what we're talking about now. And then finally, efficiencies. And I kind of sneered at the efficiency argument originally, and I was wrong, but it's not enough to capture this kind of money. But I will say that the efficiency changes, information technology, some consolidation of agency functions is producing savings to the state. And over the long run, there'll be substantial energy, for example, perhaps as much as $100 million in making the buildings more efficient in terms of their use of energy. So those are the key factors. The reason that we're going to see a tax cut, don't know how much.
The Democrats, of course, in the minority in both houses, are not completely just bystanders here. What is their argument here, and how do you think differences between their position, Republicans, will be resolved?
Well, it's interesting because rhetorically, at least, there's some sympathy, in fact, a lot of admiration for Representative Dank and the task force on tax credits on the part of not only a good many conservative analysts and some legislators, but on the part of the Democrats. They say that repeatedly, and I take it at face value. What the issue with the Democrats is an old-fashioned one. It's spending. They want more spending, not less, by government. And in some ways they argue both sides of the case because they say, hey, we've already done all these wonderful things, including some that began in the Henry years, so let's just manage what we've already got. But real uncomfortable with additional budget cuts, and also not wanting what Minority Leader Inman in the House has described as a $2 billion hole. Now that's cumulative over a decade, and it's nearly offset, half offset or more, by revenue growth in other areas in the projections. But that's where we are. The Democrats are making those arguments. I'm not sure this will work out. I think at the end you'll have a tax cut, and the final vote may be very polarized. It may be very much, you know, two camps. And it'll be limited to what they can capture in that range between 1/4 and 1%. But maybe not. Mary Fallin hasn't spoken authoritatively lately, and she's definitely been the pressure point for a higher reduction.
All right, I know we'll hear more about that. Filings this week, candidate filings this past week. A quick word on
not
that.
A huge number of people filing for office. The only thing I would note that's kind of interesting is 17 primaries for Republican incumbents. Not a huge number. you would almost expect that to be every year, that people
right.
would be challenged. But there's 4 senators and 13 Republicans facing, at the risk of oversimplification, Libertarian and or Tea Party type primary challenges. So that's going to bear watching.
All right. And you can read more about these and other topics at CapitolBeatOK.com. For Pat McGuigan, I'm Alex Cameron. Have a great Saturday.